interesting performances.
There's been some baffling stuff around the board so far here in Hildesheim today. There have been some very good performances. Most of them seem to have been on this board by the looks of it. But there's been a lot of pretty average stuff.
Throw first, game on.
So you kind of get the feeling if somebody can step up and show that they are playing somewhere near their best today, it is a massive opportunity, and particularly for somebody like James Hurrell, who
100.
is stepping up for the Challenge Tour to compete, not a tour card holder. We have seen him on the Challenge Tour playing some excellent stuff. Earlier on in the year, I think it was the opening Challenge Tour weekend, he looked mustard.
125.
Ross Montgomery has just taken out Rob Cross, who is the number 5 seed here today. So this clash between two former stalwarts of the BDO. James Hurrell, I believe, is still the England captain.
60.
Ross Montgomery was the Scotland captain for a significant amount of time. They've met a number of times in the WDF system. All 3 of their matches won by James Hurrell. So can Ross
41.
the boss turn the tide in that respect?
I'll certainly be hoping so. The winner will take on Jim Williams or Damien Moll in the next round.
140.
Steady start from Hurrell.
Second round games getting underway. In fact, we've had one result already. Michael
100.
Van Gerwen, a 6-1 winner. He's only dropped 1 leg so far today, MVG, and he's not even played anywhere near his best.
Yeah, ominous signs.
100.
Very ominous. We didn't lose too many seeded players in the opening round, so we haven't lost too many yet. So that means we could be in for some fascinating clashes later on in this
65.
Players' Championship. So Hurrell then 101. That's treble 19. I won't get a shot, so Montgomery will get a look at 170. This will be somewhere to start.
84.
I was looking for the treble 10, hit the treble 15. No great problem. Should be able to tidy that up and get 2 darts to the leg and hold throw. Smashing into the 5s, Ross the boss.
50.
Does manage to find a 20 segment and leaves him on a half-decent finish. There's a bit of jeopardy around this.
Yeah.
70 left.
So,
You had 62 and
I think he's just checking his score here, Hurrell, isn't he? And had he have hit treble 10, he would have left double 16, wouldn't he?
Yeah, look, Daniela's got it bang on right here. I think the Hillbilly is just kind of thrown himself. But 2 darts for the leg. Ooh, that's nearly busted his score.
9.
Doesn't complete the job on double 4. And Ross Montgomery, after a setup shot of just 50, this is makeable.
It is, only needs the 1. That's not a bad marker either. Oh, he didn't quite get the deflection he
60.
wanted. So Hurrell really has had a bit of luck here. Double 4 he needs.
Game shot.
Double 4 does the job. It's only a 19 darter, but it's good enough for a holder throw. Ross Montgomery, one of the more old school players around, trying to hit a double to leave a double there. Who's he think he is? Jose de Souza? Oh, maybe he does. 180, first one of the match.
Yeah, steady 4. Both players averaged 90, didn't they, in their opening game? We've seen some very interesting averages
96.
at both ends of the spectrum. So Luke Humphreys hit a 109 earlier on. Wild second dart.
41.
Disappointing visit that for Montgomery.
$54.
So Montgomery, though, still in a great position here. Struggling
100.
with those opening 2 darts, but steady away, really. Just want to hold his throw and get into this game.
Gary Anderson is our second player through to round 3. He's averaged around about that 99 mark again, seeing off Danny Noppert 6-3.
132.
And Ian White is a player I said to keep an eye out for because he started playing some good stuff. Well, over on board 1, he's averaging more than 104. Unfortunately for Ian White, he is 4-1 down to Luke Humphreys, who's averaging 116.
Crazy numbers, aren't they, from Humphreys? And I mean, he had an outstanding hit, back-to-back 11 dart legs, Humphreys, in his opening game, and then he seemed to go off the boil and still average 109.
He is doing things, particularly in the early part of tournaments, that there aren't many other players doing. He is regularly posting big numbers. Montgomery's going double-double there, and the problem with that is he's narrowed down the target
40.
to such a tiny degree that top right corner he was going for was the only bit you could see.
Hurrell then 160. Can't get it on this occasion, so Montgomery will be back.
50.
Not a great deal of pressure applied either. Montgomery then for tops and a holder throw. Gets it. 16 dart holder throw as well. 1-1. Manu Chizzy threw 105 average early days against Tony Martinez, but he's 107.34.
Well, one of the top performers we've seen so far today was Jim Williams, the Welshman, another WDF/BDO product. We'll be seeing his second round game. He averaged 105 in his opening match. Maybe Jim Williams, a man who did win one of these titles last year, could be adding to his title haul. But Ross Montgomery is playing all right here. Second 180 of the contest.
Yep. Stamps all over Hurrell's opening effort in leg 3. Dylan Slevin 3-1 up against Joe Cullen. Cullen was behind in his opening game to Ricky Evans, but managed to see him off in the end. Gonna have to come from behind again, Cullen.
Yeah, started very slowly in that game against Ricky Evans, but was looking pretty good by the end of it. He started slowly against Slevin there. Jermaine Watermaina, a man who is improving. Again, not brilliant averages, but 5-2 up on Martin Schindler, the conqueror of Raymond van Barneveld from round 1. 3-0 down against Barney and won it 6-3.
Yeah. Doesn't mention averages on the paycheck, does it, Dan?
It doesn't. It doesn't. But they will get tossed around on social media. And you can bet they'll be discussed down on the floor.
1-2-1, Ross Montgomery. Hurrell way back at the moment. He's lost the weight of his throw there.
59.
Can't quite find a treble. So Montgomery's got time. He's got options here as well from 1-2-1.
He didn't need to go to the 17s there, because Ross Montgomery, say he'd gone to somebody like Ian White, if he's got 101 left with 2 darts in his hand, he'll go to the 19s. Because if he gets the treble, he can single to leave a double. And if he hits the single, it's 82. So he can go at the bullseye, and then he knows it's a single to double combo when he comes back. Now, Ross Montgomery here, he's going to need a treble to get 2 darts at double. But he's got it, so it doesn't matter. He made life difficult for himself, but he still gets the 2 darts at double. And he gets the breaker throw as well. Ross Montgomery into the lead for the first time in this one. Yeah,
it's interesting, like you said, because if he hits the treble 17, he's not going to go for the bull anyway, is he? So why go that way?
Exactly, exactly. There's this, and by hitting a single 17, he's back up to the treble 20, which is already obscured. I mean, look, Ross Montgomery has thrown more 60 darts in his life than most people will ever do. But there are ways of using the board and managing it. And to be fair, there's plenty of players out there that will make different decisions, and they've thought about it, and they have reasons for the ways they go. But I think that's an easy one where you can think there's probably a better solution to the problem I'm facing.
Yeah. $85 for Montgomery then. So Hurrell here's got a chance to break straight back. Big one won't help the cause though. Oh dear. Overcompensates. 25. And that goes down as an ordinary visit.
Hurrell, one of the players who's been in Hildesheim for the last couple of days already, playing Challenge Tour stuff. Had a couple of last 16s yesterday.
Joe Cullen levelled it up against Dylan Slevin, 3-3 there. And Martin Schindler producing a little bit of a comeback against Jermaine Watermaina. 5-4 now.
180.
That's a better visit from Hurrell.
140.
Fair play to James Hurrell there, just acknowledging that it was a ton 40, not a 180. Extra 40 points would have got him to a finish.
It would. It'd have also got him in big trouble had he been rumbled.
Yes, true. Honesty is the best policy, and to be fair, the Mother Darts has rewarded him by Ross Montgomery only scoring, what, 43 there, and he's not down to a finish. So Hurrell will be first to a finish after all.
94.
He will. And this is a good opportunity now. 102. Montgomery will want to put some pressure on. Luke Humphries averages 110. Ian White joins the
100.
average 100 and lose club, sadly for him.
There's a few of those around today. We'll be looking at players winning with 82 averages and wondering why me. I like that play from Hurrell. He had a decent marker for the treble 20. Would have left an awkward double 11, but better to get a dart at double that's awkward than no dart at all.
Yeah, but Montgomery looked out in this leg, didn't he? Now he's got a chance to steal it. And that's a great first dart. Double 12, 2 in his hand, and he gets it. Clinical finish from Montgomery. 3-1 lead and halfway through this game, and a place potentially in the third round. That would have hurt Hurrell as well, and maybe those 40 points he didn't get, costly in the end.
Ross Montgomery reached his board final, round 3 of these events, in the very first event of the year, losing out to Luke Humphries in the end. But he hasn't gone beyond round 2 since.
100.
He is well placed here.
From right in saying that, he had a chance to beat Humphries as well that day.
I think he did, yes.
He went quite long, I think. Did it not go to the last leg?
Do you know what? I can tell you, Wills, it did go to a last leg. And Luke Humphries, despite the fact he averaged 9 points more than Ross Montgomery, Ross Montgomery did push him to a last leg decider, and it took a 14 darter from Luke Humphries to break the throw, in
95.
fact,
Yeah,
in that game.
Dug it out, so just signs that Montgomery, well, we know with all these players, they've got the game, haven't they? It's just producing it.
40.
There's Hurrell. A little bit disappointed with that visit, and he's just opened the door slightly for Montgomery. Does need a treble. And gets one with his
95.
final dart. So Hurrell being kept honest here.
Stay straight from here, and he's well placed.
140.
And he does stay straight. He picks up another treble as well.
Damon Heta in fine form, averaging just over 100. He leads Andy Bolton by 5 legs to 1. And Joe Cullen has come from behind. He's 5-3 up now over the Irishman Dylan Slevin.
Looks a nice open bed to have a crack at.
Game shot.
And he does pin it for a 14 darter. The Hillbilly cuts the gap to just 1 leg. But Ross Montgomery still in a good position to record his first victory over Hurrell in 4 attempts.
85.
So this is their first meeting in PDC darts.
Yeah. I want to put an end to that run of losses. And as you said, he's in a good position. He's got the throw here.
60.
He stayed straight there, but the length of the throw all over the show. And Montgomery looking to step on that. Plenty of room to the left. Oh, that's a nice last dart. Joe Cullen has completed that win over Dylan Slevin 6-3.
And fellow top seed Damon Heta looking good against Andy Bolton as well, but it's not looking so good for Johnny Clayton. Premier League player, the number 11 seed here today, and the man who was top of the averages list coming into today's Players' Championship event. He is 5-3 down to his fellow Welshman Robert Owen, who's averaging more than 102. That's on the other streaming board with Paul Nicholson.
Yeah, Josh Rock 1 leg away, 5-4 up over Luke Woodhouse. Hurrell needs trebles. That's a good start. Yeah, nice last 2 darts. Keeps him in touch. Only 1 break behind. Well, where did that one come from?
Nine.
Missed everything there, Ross Montgomery. Who raises his palms to the heavens and asks why.
Yeah, that first dart set the tone, didn't it? Can Hurrell? I would love a treble.
58.
Doesn't get one, but he's on a finish. Montgomery just got to be careful here. Oh, that was a poor last dart, and again
85.
he's frustrated with himself.
83.
So 148 then.
Again, I'm not even sure that Ross Montgomery going for the... He's left 132. And if you've got a finish of 132, you understand why you start the bullseye, but I don't really understand why you'd go for it last start of a visit.
58.
Well, Hurrell has left the door open here, and this would hurt, but, well, that hurts. Just his last 3 visits, Ross Montgomery is all over the shop, isn't he, at the minute? Very disappointing.
He scored 9, a baffling 83, and then his first start in the 1 segment has cost him, and James Hurrell can level the match. And again, the frustration boiling out of Ross Montgomery, and this will not improve his mood because that's a clean 2-dart kill of 90. And James Hurrell, a man who always beats Ross Montgomery, has got himself back level, and he's got the darts.
He's 3 away. Hurrell, that was a nice finish, wasn't it? Treble 20 for double 15. And a good last start as well. So a solid start to the 7th leg. And well, Ross Montgomery, he's a bit like Forrest Gump's box of chocolates. You're never quite sure what we're going to get.
62.
But at least Ross Montgomery has got some legs, unlike Lieutenant Dan. Got to repeat the UK Open semi-final over on board, eh? Andrew Gilding and Adam Gavlas going at it. Gilding, of course, famously going on to win the UK Open earlier this year. Gavlas 3-2 up in that one.
The one thing that not losing many seeds in the opening round does, it sets up some big clashes, doesn't it, for the
62.
latter part. I think Ross Montgomery's wondering if someone's shifted the board here, because he's hitting big 1 more than he's hitting the 20 segment at the moment.
Yeah, he really is killing him at the minute. And James Hurrell must sense it. If he just hits big segments, he's going to be stealing a march on his opponent. From 3-1 down, James Hurrell is very, very well situated to go into the lead.
He is. On the other hand, Ross Montgomery will be thinking, well, I can't be throwing any worse, and I'm still level. So it's an interesting little battle developing now, isn't it, in what is, in effect, a best of 5.
You would think that his decades of experience, Ross Montgomery, he should be able to keep his cool
100.
and give himself a chance of getting back to a little bit more consistent stuff.
Gabriel Clements, 5-2 up over Jeroen van der Velde.
To be fair to Ross, it is pretty consistent. It's consistently in the 1 segment.
I think he's hit the same bit, hasn't he?
21.
I mean, he's absolutely mustard on that very little bit of the board. Unfortunately, you don't get many points for it. Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah, that is a problem, isn't it? Now, what is he going to do? Will he go? He's going down for the 19s, doesn't get it. So Montgomery, despite his
42.
travails, has got to look at 116 here. Only needs 1 treble. Well, he's hit the wrong one, but he can still do it. And is he going to stay there? Or is he going to go for treble 15? He stays there, so he needs double 19. Well, it doesn't matter how you get them, as long as you get them. 116 to go back in front. He's got out of jail there, hasn't he?
He has. He really, really has. Ross Montgomery pinning the 116 despite straying into the 7s with his first dart. Got lucky that he got the treble, but he's back in charge of the game. They're both averaging pretty much the same here. Around about 89.
100.
There is so little in it, but little moments like that might prove to be decisive.
And in fairness, the last 2 darts were excellent, weren't they? Got the job done for him. Premier League star Chris Dobie's in a spot of bother. 4-1 down to Bradley Brooks. Dave Chisnell, 5-3 over Tony Martinez.
60.
Big visit here will be more than useful for Hurrell. Not bad.
140.
So he's annoyed with himself at only the ton 40. The first dart looked perfect for Hurrell, and he was frustrated by that second one sailing past it.
100.
This is a chance, isn't it, to break back. Got himself back in it with back-to-back legs, having been 3-1 down. And again, the second dart.
140.
It's almost an identical visit to his last visit, isn't it?
It is, but he at least comes away with a ton 40. Back-to-back 2 treble visits. If he could produce 3 140s in a row, James Hurrell's back in charge.
140.
He is. 140 he needs then. Oh, that's a lovely dart. That's a lovely dart. This time he does get a second. Double 10 for a breaker throw.
120.
Oh, he nearly missed the board. Bit gutted about that. But put pressure on Montgomery.
Montgomery, the 116, went in the last leg. How about the 101 in this one? For back-to-back ton-plus checkouts. And Ross Montgomery is 2 legs clear once again. When he went 3-1 up, Hurrell came right back at him. Can he shut out the hillbilly this time and record his first victory over him?
You can sense the frustration for Hurrell there. He's 1 dart away from 4-4. Now he's trying to stay in the match.
100.
A steady ton to kick off proceedings. Well, Montgomery had that spell midway through this game where he couldn't hit a big 20, let alone a treble. But those 2 ton-plus finishes have got him in the driving seat here.
Speaking of driving seat, Dirk van Dijvenbode lost the first couple of legs against Florian Hempel and was not at the races at all, but all of a sudden he's 4-3 up and averaging 96, so I assume that the Aubergine has gone absolutely
60.
berserk over the last 5 legs or so.
Yeah, quite possibly. Your man Andrew Gilding, 4-3 up over Adam Gavlas.
Johnny Clayton is gone. Robert Owen beat him on the other streaming board. Martin Schindler, Danny Noppert and Johnny Clayton, all top seeds to fall in the second round. But Luke Humphreys, Gabriel Clemens, Josh Rock, Dave Chisnell, Joe Cullen and Michael Van Gerwen have all booked their places through to their board finals, as they're expected to do as top seeds.
Yeah, Montgomery here. Maybe 6 darts away or so away from a place in the 3rd round. Left a 140 finish that Hurrell got 2/3 of the way to completing in the last leg. Hurrell now growing 100. In frustration. 6 darts then for Montgomery from 140.
Don't go in that 1 segment, Ross. The 5 segment isn't much better, to be fair, and the 3 segment doesn't help things.
That's an interesting layup from 140. Hurrell on 181 will be ruining the fact that he's not giving himself a chance here, but oh, that doesn't help. Neither does that. And no wonder he's got his head in his hands.
169 left.
It doesn't look like either player has really enjoyed this experience.
69.
Certainly not enjoying it right now. They're both on 112. Ross Montgomery has had 2 ton-plus checkouts back-to-back. Can he make it 3 on the spin? The answer is maybe. Double 16 for a 6-3 win. And Ross Montgomery, after struggling to hit a big 20 for a significant portion of the game, produces 3 ton-plus checkouts in a row to seal a 6-3 victory. He beats James Hurrell for the first time in his career, at the 4th time of asking and in their first meeting in the PDC. And for the 2nd time this year, Ross Montgomery is through to his board final. The finishing is what did it. 6 out of 8, 75%. Absolutely superb, and he needed them as well.